Greetings. I'm glad you found this. It's going to be the introduction video for my first YouTube racing series for F1 2018 career mode. Now, this is my first racing series, period, not just my first F1 series. So I'm really looking forward to getting into it. I am using this as a sort of built-in motivational tool where I'm going to strive to record an episode every single day, and in doing so, force myself to practice and through practice get better. Only if I practice well, though. One of my least favorite sayings ever is practice makes perfect. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Practice just makes permanent. So if you're practicing bad, anyway. So here's what this is my career mode. Why make an introductory video to a career mode? Because I'm going to be doing things slightly differently. I am imposing on myself a few rules, and those are mainly because the R&D, the pace of R&D development is, I think, out of control. It's way too fast. Your car can go from the weakest in the field to the strongest in the field in a season, especially if you get lucky with upgrades not failing inspection or whatever. So to dial that down a little bit, I have imposed a few restrictions on R&D and stuff. First of all, I will not be spending any of my resource points on the upgrades that make all upgrades in a particular area cheaper, nor will I be spending any of the upgrade or the resource points on any of the upgrades that make them less likely to fail inspection. No points go into those. So there's no making, sorry, cat attacking the chair. There's no making resources or upgrades cheaper, nor any of that. Also, whilst the Force, and I'll be starting with Force India, that's why they're in the background there, obviously, or maybe not obviously, but anyway, can only do 3 practice programs a weekend. That's right, there's more than that, but as long as our car is not the strongest in the field, if you look at number 3, then I can do 3 practice programs a weekend, track acclimatization, the race pace, and then the qualifying pace. Do those 3. Once I become, if I get to the point where our car is the strongest overall, then when I go into a race weekend, it's just drive out and run some practice laps, no practice programs. Yeah, so there we go. Also, the rules can change, and I will not be spending any of my resource points on protecting the upgrades. So that's just, unless I'm certain that I'm going to leave the team at the end of the season, in which case I don't want to leave the team completely high and dry and screwed. So, but for for the most part, I'm not going to protect those parts. They're just going to reset. I, in my offline career mode, run at 50% races. It's what I'm most comfortable with. I think it's great. However, in the interest of being able to present these episodes in a digestible manner, I'm going to be doing these at 25% because, it's 25, 30 minutes, a little bit longer sometimes, but still a decent block, I think, a decent amount of time for a YouTube video. I really want to present it unedited. I really want to just put the race out there and, this is what I did, this is what I'm capable of. That way I can look back at it later. Like I said, I'm using this kind of as a reference point for future growth. That way I can look back later and see where I was and how I was doing. Also, I reserve the right to use flashbacks if the AI go nuts. If the AI just absolutely park it on an apex, or sometimes they just do crazy things. I will use a flashback. Also, I may use a flashback if I absolutely bottle it. However, if I do that, I will be giving up a position or something. I'll penalize myself for doing that. But that's just in the interest of having a full episode to present. Now, if we get to the point where we're at like the 75% mark of the race and I crash out, well, then I might just end it off because that's a full episode and crashes happen. So anyway, thank you for finding this. I hope you found it to your enjoyment, and I hope you watch this series. Cheers and be well.